So, we have learned about asking, answering questions. When do we ask questions? We ask questions before we start reading, when we're looking at the cover of the book. Maybe when you're looking for a book in the back and you're trying to figure out if you want to read it. You're asking questions about what you're going to read. During the story, we have questions that come up. And then after we read it, we ask questions about what might happen after the story ends. Why do we do that? Why do we ask questions? To help us get information, to help us understand or comprehend the story, to practice being awake during our reading and thinking about it, and to be curious and wonder as we read. So you can start questions with all kinds of words like how, who, what, where, why, when, does. What did you say, Kate? Are. Those are all ways to start a question. So your question has to start with a question word. And then when we answer the story, we're going to look around in the text, in the words, and in the pictures for evidence or details to help us answer the question. Now, always, the author doesn't always tell us exactly the answer, but remember we can infer using what we already know, our schema, and what's in the story to help us understand the answer to our question. Not always does the author tell us what the answer is. So again, here are some question words that you can start a question with. Remember, we ask questions 24/7. When, whose, where, what, are, if, can, how, do, could, why, does, did, am, I, were. Okay? And then I wonder, what if, how could, I don't understand, it confused me, are things we can think about before, during, and after. So I've given you each this piece of paper, and we're going to ask a question before, during the story, and after the story. And then when you find the answer, you're going to write, I think, and tell me what you think the answer is. Because, and tell me why you think that. So we're going to practice this. We haven't done this in a couple months, so we're going to practice this today. So right now, you're writing your question right here before reading. So you're looking at our story. Santa's stuck. Okay, and you're going to ask a question. So write a question right here. What's your question about this story, Alyssa? You're going to write a question right here about what your question, what you're going to ask about this story. Okay? So everyone, if you haven't done it, write a question that you have about this story in that box. We'll give us a few minutes for those that haven't gotten it written yet. Question that you asked before we start reading the story. Sydney? How did he get stuck? Anyone have a different one? Isaiah?
Does Santa get stuck?
Does Santa get stuck? Okay, maybe he doesn't even get stuck. Maybe it's a trick, huh? What did you write, Heather? Does Santa get stuck in the chimney? Blaze? Where is he? Okay, very good questions. All good questions. All of you had good questions. So I'm going to read it, and if you find the answer, or you think you know the answer, you're going to write, I think, and tell me why, and tell me what you think and why. So I think he did get stuck because, tell me what happened. Or I think something happened, and that's how he got stuck because this. So you got to use evidence. Okay? And then we're going to stop in about the middle of the story, and you're going to ask a new question in the middle of the story. Okay, so let's go. Santa's stuck. Toys are nestled, tree lights glow, stockings stuffed march in a row. Santa sighs, it's time to go, gathers up his giant sack and spies a note and Christmas snack. Dear Santa, we've been very good. Boys and girls have been so kind, they left sweets for him to find. His suit feels rather snug. Santa shrugs a jolly shrug. One more cookie? Couldn't hurt. This last snack will be dessert. Santa rests his weary feet, munches on a scrumptious treat. Nibble, nibble, tasty crumbs. Licks the frosting from his thumbs. Smacks his lips on fruit cake too. Woofs the whole thing. Chomp, chomp, chew. Chocolate fudge. He sneaks a piece. Can't resist. He has a feast. Look at all those sweets up there. His belly budges. Uh-oh, look. A button pops. Restless reindeer, cold wind blows. Up the chimney Santa goes. Suddenly, a sound is heard. Rap, tap, tap, and one little wee word. Help! Look at the reindeer. Little ones tucked in their beds, candy cane dreams in their heads. Slumber on, don't hear a peep, but dog bolts upright from his sleep. Bravely pit-pats down the stair, sees boots kicking in the air. He sees his feet sticking out. Santa whispers, I'm stuck tight. Dog helps push with all his might. No luck. Santa's stuck. Meanwhile, the reindeer heed the plea, form a chain, then pull on 3. He says, I'm stuck tight. Okay, so did you find the answer to your question? If you did, write I think and tell me why. If you didn't, then that's okay. Maybe you don't know your answer yet. Then you don't write anything. Can you think of another question you have right now? While we're reading, think if there's another question you have about this story. Go ahead and write it here. Maybe, does the reindeer get him out? Maybe who else is going to come help? Or any other question you might have while we're reading. This is where a new question goes. Right here. So if you found the answer to your first question, go ahead and write I think because. And then during reading, if we found a question you have right now, do that. Or don't know the answer yet to that next question. Make sure you start your questions with who, when, what, why, how, where, if, does, are. And you put a question mark after it. I'm going to give us a few minutes to think of a question. Share a few answers. So I noticed that Heather said, does Santa get stuck in the chimney? And her answer was, I think yes, because he says, help. Well, that's easy. Yeah, if he said help, then he needs help, right? He must be stuck. Okay? So that was her answer. Okay, so Emily said, do the reindeers talk? She said, I don't think the reindeers talk. Why? Why don't you think they talk? Okay, because they didn't talk in the story. So write that, because they didn't talk in the story. Okay, what was your question, Kate? How does he get stuck? Or why does he get stuck?
How does he get stuck?
Okay, how does he get stuck? And what was your answer?
Because he eats too many trees.
So you would say yes, because he eats too many trees. You say yes, because he eats too many trees. So you answer the question by telling me the answer, and then because and why. What your evidence? How do you know that answer? What happened in the story that helps you know that answer? Okay, let's go on to the next. Anyone like to share their other new questions that they put in the middle there? What did you put, Xavier? Do the kids get them out? What did you put, Gracie? Is there more animals? What did you put, Cooper? Is he getting out? All really good questions we're asking. Now, we're going to finish reading the story so you can answer any of your questions you haven't answered yet. And then at the end of the story, we're going to see if there's a question we might have after the story. 1, 2, 3. Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, Blitzen, Rudolph, too. They all heave-ho as one dog pushes down below. No luck. Santa's stuck. He's still saying, help. Mama Cat wakes from her nap, hears that help, and rap, tap, tap. See that Santa's in a fix, calls her kittens, 1 through 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Meow.
I have 2 kittens.
Reindeer, dog, kittens, cat. Pull like this and push like that. No luck. Santa's stuck. Ho, ho, ho. A tiny mouse stirs inside his tiny house. Scampers out to lend a hand. Santa gives the go command. Now they're all going. He says, go. Push. Pull. Push. Pull. So who's doing the pulling? Who's pulling? Heather?
The cats and the dogs.
No, they're pushing. Who's pulling? Isaiah?
The mouse.
Nope, they're all pushing. Who is it, Cooper? The reindeer on top of the house pulling through the chimney. And all these friends down here are pushing. But look at the mouse. He has an idea. Yeah. He has an idea. Here he comes, look. He's in a little bulldozer. Push! Pop! What do you think so it goes pop? Santa! Oh my goodness, this book is not. Whoosh! And they all fall down. Look at the mouse. He's like, yay! Santa's out. A silent cheer. Why do you think they have to do a silent cheer?
Where they don't so the kids.
Yeah, they don't want to wake up the kids. Reindeer harness up their gear. Back inside the Christmas sleigh. Santa shouts, now dash away! Then he waves and soars from sight. Merry Christmas and good night. So, now you can answer your first question and your second question. Remember, you have to say, I think, or answer the question, say because, and tell me how you know it, the answer. And then, what kind of question might you have after you read this story? What do you have a question that might happen after the story's over? Any question you have about what might happen to the characters after the story's over. So go ahead and write a question there, and then the answer for this one is just what you think. What do you think the answer would be? And why? Okay, I'm still talking. So right here, you're not going to get the answer from the story. So just tell me what you think and why the answer would be. So go ahead and work on that.